This is Manor Lords, where life's troubles of shelter, food and taxes are personified into a video game where you need to provide and manage the hundreds of medieval villages, and have some fun along the way. A city building game which has some of the best and in-depth form of freedom I've ever seen in the genre in a very long time. You can create some pretty cool stuff.
But what the hell, boy?
You also need to manage everything from accommodation and crafting to trade, resources, food, and a fuckload more of other stuff.
Please, disperse!
But wait, there's more than just perfecting your inner architect, there's strategy as well. From smiting the smellies of thieving bandits, competing against a rival lord. And with this brand new game that I've had on my wish list for... Jesus Christ, has it really been 4 fucking years? I've set myself a challenge that absolutely no one else has done, and that is to take control over all of the provinces and complete the game. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Hey everyone, ready to dive into a world where gods and legends clash in epic battles? Whether you're just upgraded to a new phone or you're looking to unleash its full potential, let me introduce you to a game that's going to take you on a mythical adventure like no other. Raid Shadow Legends. Before we get started, huge thanks to Raid for sponsoring this video. You probably heard about them, but do you really know what's waiting for you in the depths of this incredibly deep turn-based RPG which is totally free? Let's journey together and explore the realm of gods and champions. Right now, Raid is running one of its biggest events ever, the Asgard Divide. If you're a fan of Norse mythology, this is your moment. Imagine having Loki, Thor, Freya, and Odin as part of your champion collection. Let's break it down. Everyone who logs in for 7 days between now and October 23rd can claim the legendary champion Loki the Deceiver for free, and the rewards don't stop there. Keep logging in for another 7 days to unlock even more goodies and access a second phase of incredible rewards. This event runs from August 21st to November 22nd, so you've got plenty of time to dive in. And for the real challenge seekers, Raid has introduced the Event Dungeon, where you'll face off against the almighty Odin Feyfather himself. It's a battle of wits and power. Are you ready to prove yourself? New players, this is your chance to jump into Raid and get a ton of awesome in-game loot, but only if you use my link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. By logging in for just 7 days, you'll get Loki for free. Plus, if you hit level 25, you'll also get the epic boss killer Tagoar and the strong support champion Aina, along with a bunch of other goodies worth $60, all for free. So what are you waiting for? Get Raid Shadow Legends now. Thank you, Raid. Now, back to the video. Now before we do anything, we need to show you just how much freedom the game provides from the get-go, which is the beautiful coat of arms editor. Believe me, when I say you can create anything, you can create anything. Oh, it takes me back to those glorious Black Ops 2 emblem days. Now before we actually started the official challenge, we did a test run just to get a feel of the game, and the main thing I learned is that I should never listen to chat when picking development points. I mean, yeah, I can breed sheep now, but like, I have no fucking money to get any of them. Who the fuck told me to pick this? I'm poor! After deleting that save file and not having the burden of peer pressure, I created a brand new game with a new coat of arms, a fresh slate, and a pretty good starting position with 2 rich deposits, wild animals and iron. Iron right now wasn't important. I had to make sure my people weren't homeless or hungry, and our supplies were safely stored away. So we got to it. Chopping trees, picking berries, hunting deer, and building houses so fast it would put the Chinese government to shame. And just like that, we had cured homelessness. Who knew that the simple act of build house would cure the problem? Los Angeles, if you need help, just give me a call. Shortly after fixing our homeless problem, we found out some people would rather stay homeless. After stealing some of our supplies, we formed the militia. I was still new to this game at this point, and I also didn't have enough men yet to take on the scruffy bunch. After showing the Chinese how it's really done, we doubled down on adding salt to the wound and built more infrastructure, including a marketplace and trading post. And FYI, my dear fellow viewer, there's no way of sugarcoating this. I am not going to explain what every building in the game does. I trust you have access to Google, or don't have an IQ of 70 and can actually read.
I'm retarded?
After establishing our trading post, I got straight to selling hides, which we gradually were accumulating quite a bit, while simultaneously making deer an endangered species. But that wasn't enough. I wanted to piss off Peter a lot more. So I upgraded some burgage plots to accommodate goats, so I can slaughter them and get more hides, for more profit. At this moment I considered we had achieved a lot, so I decided to stroll across my town and marvel at just what we had accomplished. Food was plenty, firewood collected, hides making that sweet, sweet cash. Was growing, but there was a lot more that needed to be done. It was at this moment I was notified that new mercenaries were available to hire, which I couldn't afford because I was a broke ass bitch. So we got to work. I erected a church to represent our goodwill to the Lord, and poetically and conveniently, we were reminded that some people in this world deserve to be slain in the name of our Lord as well.
I'm going to kill you.
Some of our hides and firewood were stolen by some bandits, which sadly we couldn't afford yet to do anything about. As winter fell on the land, so did an army from the north. The other lord wanted blood, but thankfully not on us, but on the neighbouring bandits that stole our stuff. Curiosity got the better of me and I just wanted to watch karma come in the form of spears being handled by a blind man. It was at this moment that I realised I had made a fatal mistake of letting the enemy lord do this, because there's a little thing in this game called influence. If you get enough of it, you can claim lands. I didn't have any yet because I was still figuring out how to do everything and not let my villagers starve. So I let it happen. FYI, this was recorded when the game very first came out, and these problems, along with a lot of other stuff, has been rectified now. I'm just including a bunch of them because 1, it's funny to watch and deal with because I hate myself, and 2, because I'm extremely lazy and I don't want to play another campaign. So if I mention anything kind of broken later in the video, just letting you all know it's most likely fixed now. So after having a progress bar to remind me how useless I am in conquering unpronounceable lands, I got back to improving my settlement and we finally reached level 2. I decided to unlock charcoal burning, which gives us access to build kilns. With these, we can produce, you guessed it, charcoal, which not only will make refueling our infrastructure and houses twice as efficient, it can also add as an extra thing to trade and piss off Greta Thunberg.
How dare you!
As more people decided to come to we were able to build, and in no time we upgraded to a large village. With profit on my agenda, I decided to unlock better deals. This removes all tariffs from imports, making them all cost just 10 gold.
Hey, that's pretty good.
While I was making gains in the medieval stock market, our eventual opponent was making gains in land. After some successful trade and more growth, I decided it was best to now try and get some influence for myself. The bandit camp spotted, we set out with one unit of militia armed with shields and spears looking like discounted versions of the Teletubbies. Our first battle was upon us. The battle against some tents. Yeah, I have no idea why, but my theory is that the AI Lord killed the bandits and forgot about the bandit camp. So I decided to kick it down and take all the spoils for myself. I ended up not getting any influence because I guess letting the other guys do all the killing while you take the loot isn't really anything to boast about. With the spoils of war in my personal pocket, my Teletubby militia make their way back to our village, only for luck to have it happen again on the way back. This would go on several times. I simply just wasn't getting there before the other lord. Time passed, my town grew, and then it happened. I had to get this one. It was the only neighbouring province that hadn't been conquered. I couldn't let it slip into the other lord's hands. I rallied all abled men and raced to take on the bandits to gain that much needed influence and coin.
Fuck me right in the ass.
We did it! We gave this guy open heart surgery and reaped the rewards. Not much, but definitely helpful, and more importantly, stopping the other ugly bastard from taking the last free patch of land. We got more infrastructure built to craft more helpful stuff. We even got a pub erected. This guy seems to like it.
Traditional drink of the Andean cowpake. Move like this. And this.
We even finally unlocked deep mining, which lets us mine a rich deposit mine indefinitely. We now have an infinite amount of iron ore to trade, smelt, and craft with, just as infinite as your father's appetite at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Not bad. Now, remember when I said there was plenty of broken problems with the game at launch? This is another one. Because of how stupidly fast the enemy lord gained influence on land, that also gave him the ability to hire all the local mercenaries so much they only stay loyal to him. So the only two mercenary groups I was able to hire for the entire game were these two. A bunch of alcoholic Frenchmen and furry farmers. And to top it all off, over half of them are archers. To put it shortly, people in early access deemed archers too overpowered, so the developer nerfed them for release to the point a chimpanzee throwing shit at you would be more effective. But alas, I hired them, because we were going to need all the help we could get, because a band of raiders were on their way to struggle cuddle and pillage. As they made their way towards us, luck would find me and another bandit camp spawned directly in line with their path on the way to my town. As they made their way here, they were just in time to defend my lands from the raiders. They stopped them right in their tracks and made all raiders' productivity in progress the equivalent of a Just Stop Oil protest. With enough influence now gained, I can finally do what any fellow Brit has desired ever since the end of the Empire: conquer foreign lands. With no fighting force to oppose my presence, my men stood valiantly thinking of all the resources we can reap from the earth to further fuel our war machine. And like that, we had successfully taken a region. I then proceeded to expand my retinue and buy another group of homeless people to get to work in the middle of nowhere. Now, by my own accord, I have essentially doubled my chances of having a stress-induced aneurysm, because I now have 2 settlements I need to build and micromanage. So we got to work. While the ever-looming presence of the ugly man past our borders, wanting what we have, getting stronger and stronger, we built. We got struck by lightning. We save scummed and built multiple wells around our town so that wouldn't happen again, and we built some more. We got clay. We got sheep. We got wheat. Yeah, farming was kind of broken too, but yeah, moving on. We got stonks. We got immigration coming in so much from success, it would make Nigel Farage have a heart attack. We were doing so well, in fact. King Henry VIII's inbred cousin over here decided we were doing a little too well and decided to announce claim on our new province. Waldbrand? See, these guys chose readable English, why didn't you? On top of this, a raider party decided they wanted a piece of the pie too.
If you want some, I'll give it you.
Things were getting a bit interesting. Me not really wanting to touch this guy with a 10-foot pole in fear of catching leprosy, I sent him a little bribe in favour of peace for now, which to my surprise, he was able to read, never mind actually accepting.
The negotiations were short.
This gave me much breathing room, so I can focus on those pesky raiders coming from the north. As more people came in, more taxes and tithe was ready to gain, and eventually I had a monopoly on those along with trade. Zero became an economic powerhouse, which meant better stuff for my retinue and more. With retinue upgraded and armed, militia too, along with my fellow drunk Frenchies and furry farmers, I was ready to attack. I decided on Goldhof to be our next claim. See, even this one I can read. It was at this moment, while another raider party thought it would be a great idea to attack me at the same time, that I realised that I made my coat of arms all too similar to the French flag, that I almost considered deleting this entire playthrough. But we marched, banner high, defeating the average LA resident, and moved on to our first battle against the enemy lord. The battle for Goldhof is about to begin. We managed to take the high ground and held our position strongly. The hills helped hold their multiple attacks. The ground sludges them to a crawl. As their men fell, we cheered and kept going. Banner in hand, sword in the other. And before we even knew it, we had won. Goldhof was ours.
Great job.
Progress was strong with all 3 of our lands. Settlements grew, the economy's booming, and my eyes gazed ever more over the horizon for victory. And old inbred here just wasn't having it. The second battle for Goldhof was upon us. Which we swiftly beaten back.
My ears burn.
Bit rude to put that knife in me chest, innit, bruv?
At this point, with the overpowered economic powerhouse that was Zerrrrrr, raising armies was not a problem. Shortly after defending Goldhof, I decided to lay claim to the south at... Oh, for fuck's sake. We waited until snow fell, and then he came again. We stained the white ground in red while our travelling merchants were unfazed by the bloodshed because they only care about one thing, funding our great war machine of conquest. As the snow melted and spring arrived, we were ready to buy another group of homeless to get to work in colonising our new lands. At this rate, we were around 20 hours into our full playthrough time on the game, and the idea of micromanaging multiple towns sounds way too painful to deal with. Shortly after forcing my new colony to be on a diet, we straight away got to organising for the next battle. After setting up another fully stacked retinue with our infinite amount of tax income streams, we marched west to Immenroof. Alright, that's a bit better. As we waited in the rain, the ugly bastard came to defend his lands, but it was in vain. My fully stacked and armoured retinue spamming strategy was beginning to pay off and is quite frankly a bit overpowered. As the rain continued on to the green grass, so did my stride towards expansion and conflict. There was now only 3 more areas to conquer on the map, and the idea of making more settlements with them to further increase my army dawned on me. I really did not want to do that. At this point, I decided to make the decision to build one more final village up in Immenroof and create another fully stacked retinue, and take the last 3 remaining lands in one final swoop. A method of offensive warfare designed to strike a swift, focused blow at an enemy using mobile, maneuverable forces. I wonder where I heard that from. With my final retinue at hand, taxes collected, influence ready to be utilised, the operation was ready.
Little lesbian.
Victory! 1 down, 2 more to go with not a single man lost. Not bad. As the enemy fell to the floor before it, so did the snow. We swiftly marched east for our next conquest. As the snow set it still in cell bits, so did my men, ready for the next onslaught. And like clockwork, they came to defend, only to fall just like their brothers before them. Another victory. Selbitz was ours, and one more target for ultimate glory. We marched east for one final time. The battle for Hofstetten.
It's time to go!
Quickly our enemies fell until it was stragglers running for the border as a last desperate attempt of escape. We had won. And with that, a glitched ending because I told my men to go where the last enemy unit routed just before the final blow.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And with that, we finished the very unique, not done before challenge of taking control of all the lands. And with that was Manor Lords. In my honest opinion, and this is entirely based on my personal experience you all just watched when it was launched, I give it a 7 out of 10. Give it around a year when the solo dev hopefully hires more talent to speed up production and updates along with hopefully, modding support, and you have a gem of a game that will last for decades. Thank you all for watching, and thanks again for Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. Don't forget again to check out the free stuff with the link down below. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.